Welcome to Moments of Truth, a CEO leadership video series. Today we'll be speaking with Joe DePinto, CEO of 7-Eleven. Let's hear what he has to say. Well, Mr. DePinto, thank you for coming on Moments of Truth. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Mickey.
Thank you. I want to start talking about this idea of servant leadership. You've written a lot about it, and I know that it's a philosophy that is permeated through 7-Eleven. When did the concept or the philosophy of servant leadership first appear to you or come to you?
Our business is a franchise business, and so these are independent owner-operators, and the approach that we take is what we call servant leadership, and that is one of flipping the traditional pyramid, putting our guests and our stores, our franchisees, at the top of the pyramid, and then everyone else is there to support the operation, our stores and our franchisees. And so we've done a lot of work around that, but the concept was around servant leadership, that in a business like ours, you need to support the folks who actually are the face to the customer.
Is that a foreign concept to a lot of leaders, you think?
I think that as simple as the premise goes, it's very difficult in execution. And I think businesses would be better off with that philosophy. I mean, everyone's got their different leadership philosophies, but that's one that works well for us.
So when you showed up at 7-Eleven and you had this idea, this concept, this philosophy, and you said, we're going to roll this out, this is going to help us execute our strategy of expansion and growth in our business, what was the reaction?
I think it was one of new change, but the direction, I think most folks thought it was the right thing to do. Now, change is very difficult, which you know, and so to accelerate it, what we did was we trained on it, and then we included it in the way we evaluate performance and how we compensate folks. So we do it on a matrix of overall performance on the x-axis, and on the y-axis, how do you get the performance, and are you using the principles of servant leadership? But it's a constant improvement process. But it's very much at the foundation of our strategy. We use a one-page strategy map in the balanced scorecard, and at the foundation, in the people, learning, and growth area, is this concept of servant leadership.
So was there a particular moment of truth where you realized, okay, I think this is sticking now? What was your kind of metric or measure where you felt like this has really sunk down into the far reaches of the world?
We evaluate performance, and one of the dimensions is servant leadership. The other is overall results. And through that, we track the overall performance of individuals. The process we utilize is what we call a 9-blocker. So in the upper quadrant are folks that are performing really well and also using the tenets of servant leadership. There's always a middle block, and then there's a block of folks that aren't getting results and haven't bought into this. And what we've done is migrated, trained and developed, and folks that aren't utilizing those concepts day to day, we've managed out of the system. And there's a direct correlation with our performance over the last 8 years in that model.
Interesting. Were you surprised? You were the original Undercover Boss, so you were out there trying to see what the disconnect or connection was between the franchise owners and the corporate office. Were you surprised by how they felt in that relationship? What were the biggest surprises in that experience as far as feeling like they were being served? For me personally, it was an opportunity to show the organization that regardless of where you're at in the organization, you have to get out to stores and you have to support the stores. And it was very powerful. It's been a tremendous message. It's been very successful for our organization. And I think it sent a great message and tone to the entire organization about, as the leader, regardless of where you're at in the organization, be in our stores, support our stores, provide them what they need. And we used Undercover Boss as one element of communicating that. We're in the business of running convenience stores, operating convenience stores. And we are in a franchise business. And if we're not, we run corporate stores.
And it's the same thing. It's about supporting them. And so there may have been some pushback on what is this name,
Okay.
but after we explained it, universally accepted.
Have you found since you've taken over in this role that a particular moment of truth where you said, okay, I am now the head of this organization and it really is incumbent upon me to do X, Y, or Z, or when you finally realized, holy cow, okay, this is a moment of truth, I better step up?
Yeah. Well, my moment of truth is a pretty simple one. Just because the CEO says it or the CEO wants it, doesn't mean it'll get done. We're a big organization. We encourage our folks to push back. So just because I want to do something doesn't mean it'll get done. And quite frankly, my folks have kept me away from doing some things that I thought were great and that if we would have done would have been wouldn't have been as good or wouldn't have been executed as well or wouldn't have provided the impact that we were looking for.
So the boss doesn't always know the right thing, right?
Yeah.
So
No,
servant happens in both ways, I guess,
Yes.
in both directions.
Yeah. Listen to your people. And I try to do a lot of that.
Well, Mr. DePinto, thank you so much for being on Moments of Truth. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Mickey.
Many thanks to Joe DePinto for joining us today, and thanks to you for watching. Please join us again next time for more CEO insights in Moments of Truth. I'm Mickey Quiñones from SMU's Cox School of Business.